when what if we're looking at something like this? You're missing the king and the 10. Can this suit be played for no losers? It can, but you're going to need to be lucky, right? How do you play this? If you must have no losers in the suit and you're missing the king and the 10, you're down here in the south. What do you do? Which card do you play?
The jack.
I think you
All right, if you run the jack from your hand and it gets covered by the king and you win the ace, have you solved your problem?
No.
No, because the 10 has been promoted, right?
I think you play little to the queen.
All right, so remember that when you take your finesse and you play small out of your hand, if the king is over here, they're not going to cover, right? You haven't played an honor, there's no reason for them to cover. So we play small to the queen, but then after that we have to play the ace. And so we now need this to be King Doubleton, right? Otherwise the 10 gets promoted and we haven't helped our cause. Marion looks mystified.
No, I'm just processing.
Yeah.
Just-
Now of course there is,
Would
yeah.
you write it? Okay, so
Now there is another possibility here.
small to the queen and then the ace. Right?
Yeah. I'll give you the 9. Now you could do the same thing, right? You could play small to the queen because you're missing king and 10. And then you could play the ace and hope that the king drops Doubleton. What is the alternate way to play this suit? And it's a pure guess, but you have no way that this would be right. To try and play the suit for no losers. Well, so low to the 9, remember if, and the 10 is an honor, remember if honors are split, the 9 might lose to the 10, the 9 might lose to the king if the 10 is onside, but you're going to lose.
Play the
Yeah.
jack.
Okay, so what if in this situation you decided to run the jack?
And cover if they drop
Okay,
the king.
so if this person has the king, now if this person has, now of course if this person has king and 10, and small to the 9 would have worked in that situation, but you can still go small to the 9 later, right?
Yeah.
If you start jack and it goes king ace, you still have queen 9. If you can get back to this hand, you could finesse the 9 later. But what's the other possibility? Squash Doubleton 10 with the other person's hand, right? So here you play the jack. If they don't cover, you let it ride, and then you play small to the queen and pick up the whole suit. Or you play the jack, because they can't see the 10, they should definitely cover. Ace, and now you could come back to your hand and finesse 9 and play this person for having started with king 10, or you just play the queen and at that stage you hope that the 10 drops, right? But isn't that just a pure guess? I mean, you don't know, you're missing king and 10, you don't know whether it was king 10 X on your left or king third on your left and 10X on your right. These are just guesses, these are not you don't have any real guidance from the probabilities here on these. So
it doesn't hurt to play small to the queen?
Yeah. Otherwise, using
you can play small to the queen, and the queen will hold the trick, which will mark the king on side. But at this stage, aren't you still reduced to a guess?
Right.
Do you play ace to drop Doubleton king at that stage? Or do you come back to your hand and then run the jack to drop Doubleton 10? Either one is equally likely, right? So
But if
we
you
don't know.
don't have the 9, you're better off starting off without.
If you don't have the 9, now you really
Yes.
need double
Yeah.
10 king. Yeah. Because if you're missing 10 and 9, you're going to lose a trick. If you don't drop double 10 king at that stage. So. I kind of see where I'm. Oh wow, it's okay. It's already about 10 o'clock. Do we want to break first and then come back and play a couple hands?
Yes.
Okay, let's break for a few minutes.
Sorry.
Let's come back from the break, and what I want to do is play the first 2 hands.